Well, with citizens across Europe having lived under coronavirus restrictions for months now, the World Health Organization is warning of what it calls pandemic fatigue. Health officials say many people are now feeling less motivated about following protective behaviours as COVID-19 spreads. Professor Perry Halkitis is a public health psychologist at Rutgers University, and he joins me now from Newark in New Jersey. But what do we mean by coronavirus fatigue, and how do you measure it precisely?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Coronavirus fatigue is a concept that's related to the idea of behavioral maintenance, the idea that people become exhausted after periods of time of doing a behavior repetitively. And we see this whether we think about people finishing their prescriptions, like their antibiotic for 14 days, or going to the gym consistently, or eating healthy in consistent ways. That's what COVID fatigue alludes to the inability to continue to behave in a certain way.
And how do you repair that, if indeed it's possible to repair it?
So human behavior is very challenging to change, but what we need to do is we need to give new motivations for people to continue to engage in safer behaviors around COVID-19. What I've been talking about over the last few weeks is tapping into the sense of altruism that people can have. We each need to think about the person in our life who is most vulnerable to this disease and use that as our motivation to continue to wash our hands consistently, cover our faces with masks, socially distance from each other, and that is the driver that will help each of us continue to protect each other from this disease.
That's interesting. So that takes a lot of energy from all parts of society. What would really relieve people's fatigue, though, is getting back to normal.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. This idea of normal, however, is changed. And, my expectation is that there's going to be a period of time, certainly for the next few months, where we're going to have to be even more careful than before. By doing that, by investing the time now, by investing the energy now, by investing the effort now, we will be able to return to what we experience as normal: the concerts, the picnics, the going to the park with our friends, the dance parties, all of those things. But that just can't happen right now. And I do appreciate the fact that people are exhausted. We are all exhausted. But at the same time, we also have a responsibility to each other. And that's why we get into a society. We go into a society together. We give up some of our own individual rights for the well-being of the whole.
But that's tough. And just briefly, because it takes maturity to do that, doesn't it? I mean, when you're thinking about the younger generation, for example, all the things that they are denied now, and they're not really at risk, certainly not mortally, from this, it seems.
Correct. And it looks like they may not be at much risk. They certainly can be carriers. And you're absolutely right. I think about the students at my university, at Rutgers University, who are now taking classes online instead of in person, right? And that whole college experience, the whole university experience has changed. Still, I believe in the goodness of humanity, and I believe in the ability of individuals to actually think about others, as much as they think about themselves. And that's what is required right now. And it means sacrifice. Just like our parents sacrificed during the wars, just as people sacrificed during the Great Depression, this is a period of sacrifice, and we need our younger folks to sacrifice just for a very brief more period of time.
Yeah, no, fascinating. Professor Halkitis, thank you very much indeed for joining us here.
My pleasure. Thank you.